Alright everybody, welcome back to today's video. I know it's been a while since my last upload. I had a States Championship that just passed and I really didn't want to spoil my deck profile or anything before that, and also there were a lot of changes happening literally the night before States. So it was a little bit of a rush. And as you can see on screen, I have taken Adventure Synchron and I decided to test it out and play with it at States and try my luck with it. Unfortunately, I didn't do that well this time around. Last year, I think I placed somewhere around 50th at States, and then regionals this year I was like, I think 16th. No, not 16. I was 17 or 18th, and then this States I dropped to like 60 something place, so it was really not that great. But my first matchup was, oh yeah, this is the one thing I was salty about. I went up against like 4 or 5 trap decks, so that was really annoying. But first matchup was trap decks. I 2-0 trap decks, which was really nice. It's a nice way to start off a States Championship, just getting that 2-0. And then round 2 I go up against Labyrinth, and Labyrinth completely destroyed me, mainly because of the floodgates, and also I had literally no combo, and that was just annoying. And I mean, it is what it is, and I just took a 2-0 loss straight up. Next match was Traptrix, and I lost that in time by 300 life points, and because of a Zeus. So that was unfortunate. That was round 3. Round 4 was Traptrix as well, and I took that 2-0. Round 3, that was 4. Round 5 was Kashtira, and there was a repairing, so I would have gone against Swordsel, and I would be like, okay, cool, Synchro versus Synchro, it would have been so nice. But then repaired, and then I got paired against Kashtira. I took game 1, he took game 2, and then he took game 3, and also time. The problem was, so he skilled, it was such a skill move where he made me think he didn't have the evenly matched, and I put up a board of negates. I negated his cards, and I think he had 1 unicorn in hand left, and then he goes battle and he goes evenly matched, and I've used up all my negates at that point, so it was really painful. And then yeah, attempted to full combo with the unicorn. But yeah, and then the next match was Crystal Beast, and this is where fatigue started to come in, and I just, one match that took 45 minutes, it was Crystal Beast control with Baguska and the whole lot. But yeah, I lost that, and that was honestly a match I shouldn't have lost, because there was, now looking back at it, there were so many easy outs that I could have gone into, but again, fatigue. And then the last match was Nimlaria, which I just 2-0'd easily. But yeah, again, in the States, so it was that last match against Nimlaria. The minute, I think as we were about to start, the ban list dropped, and everyone was like, what? No, this can't be real. And then lo and behold, it was actually real. And then I was so sad, because last time they took my red reboot, and I was salty about that. Now they took my appointer, and the Gamma is gone. And Gamma, as you know, in our deck is very strong, because it's a 1-card Baron, because we have Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon. So it was really good, but I mean, now that it's at 1, it's not really viable unless you play the Epsilon package with it, or Alpha, I think. I can't remember, the one that negates spells. But anyway, let's just go run over the deck profile really quick. So 3 Water Enchantress, 3 Rite of Armacia, or Rite of Amnesia as I call it. This is standard, you have to play 3-3. Here's where I changed it up a little bit. So Fateful Adventure, I was playing it at 2, because the one problem I kept encountering in testing is when you go tuning, and you go tuning mill. Sometimes you do tend, if you're playing 1 Fateful, you mill the Fateful Adventure, and it's situational, but it happens sometimes, and then it shuts off a lot of plays. That's something you don't really want. At least with the Draco back, if you mill the Draco back, it's still okay, because you still have this line of play, you just won't have the equip spell. But yeah, and then 1 Griffin Rider, and then the night before, I made last minute changes, and I took out the Illegal Knight, which I actually should have kept that in, because it was free body removal, which was really needed in the actual state tournament. Again, a lot of the matches were trap decks, but again, there were 1 or 2 up in the Crystal Beast when they put up those 2 big Crystal Beasts, and I needed that body to I needed to bounce those 2 bodies, so the Illegal Knight would have been so nice. And then 3 Starter Synchron, Illusion of Chaos, and 1 Magician Souls. I played it this way because honestly, this is what I could borrow last minute, so the person who had it only had 2 Illusion of Chaos and 1 Souls. Ideally, it would be 2 Chaos and 2 Souls, because then you can still have recursion, you can keep using it in the following turns. 3 Jet Synchron, this is the only time with Jet Synchron you'll usually run it at 3, because it runs so well with this package, and you just make unaffected speeder, and it just combos off from there, which is really good. Satellite Synchron, I think all Adventure builds have to run this, because Satellite is an additional body you do need off of Speeder to start making plays. And also, if you're going second, you can make Baron and make this with Yazi. Then you get 2 additional pops, so it's really good. And also, level modulation with this is really good. The trail is also still very important. The only thing I will state is the Bishields. Bishields are a problem sometimes, so keep in mind that your trail can get Bishield. But the nice thing with this package is I mainly made it through Illumination as an E-Telly, because I had either Axel Synchro or Stardust Dragon on the field, so I just E-Tellied it immediately. So I just bypassed that whole situation. Nibiru didn't come up that much, but I still used Meme in my combo lines just to help me facilitate get into the librarian and get me some draws, because the draws were actually very important to get me the hand traps that I needed. Like, as you can see, we're playing 3 Gamma, 3 Imperm, 3 Drolls, so we really needed to draw into that kind of engine, so or those cards, so the librarian was very useful there. The one unexpected card was the Sharon. Sharon actually put in a lot of work, especially to bait out hand traps. If you start with Sharon, people think maybe you're going into Telement branded or some weird Telement strategy. And then especially if you mill something like that they don't expect in a Synchron deck, or that they won't notice that it's a Synchron deck, just makes it so much better, because then they'll try and negate this if they can. If not, you just mill 3, and if you mill this Water Enchantress, it's like you've got combo from there. And then also this plus Jet Synchron is just also free for Speeder. Illumination is just a one-off. You don't really need to go any higher than that. But it really put in a lot of work, especially with the E-Telly effect, because if you have Stardust Dragon, which just build made quite a lot. And 3 Synchro Overtake just to helped us get out, so we don't play Junk, which is sad in this build, and there's no Junk Warrior. So this was mainly off of Jet Warrior to special summon Jet Synchron, and then use the level 4 token, and then use it with the Griffin Rider to make unaffected Speeder. So that line was very cool. The tuning, obviously, if you open up Stardust and Water Enchantress, and this was a big problem, and this is something I took out last minute. As you can see in the extra deck, I'm running Riser. So the day before, I actually wasn't running Riser, I was running Chenging. But then I realized, like, there are times when you can open up these two, and then like this, you don't really have combo. So rather aim for consistency and try and have a combo line with it. So have the Riser as a combo line, instead of playing the additional level 10 to have an additional body to ensure game when you do pop off. So I'd rather have the Riser to ensure that I at least get somewhere. So I removed Chenging for the shooting Riser, and it actually helped quite a lot. But yeah, tuning. So sometimes if you have this, you can also search the Jet Synchron, which is very nice. I didn't get droll all that much. I think I got shifted more than I got drolled, which is kind of unfortunate. But I mean, the droll still, I tried to play through it, and sometimes you can. It's not as effective a board, but it's still a board. Shifter is also so painful, because like sometimes you can play through it, sometimes you can't, and sometimes you have the called by, sometimes you don't. So it is what it is. 1-for-1 is so broken in this build, because you just go for the Jet or you go for the Souls, and if you discard Water Enchantress, it's just more effects that can activate. It can also bait out hand traps, which is very good. Foolish as well. Foolish is basically another copy of Water Enchantress, another copy of Jet, another copy of Trail. Foolish did so much. And then the hand trap is obviously Gamma. Our deck benefits off of having Gamma in the deck, so especially control, because we start off with a lot of spells, and because Water Enchantress banishes when it activates. So if your opponent does try and hand trap here, you just Gamma, and it's a 1-card Baron, and you just keep going on from there. Imperm and Troll was very good. I actually had Ghost Ogre in here as well. I was running it at like a 47-card build, and I had an addition. The Illegal Knight. So it was like 47, but then I cut it down just to have more consistency. The problem was the stupid brick. Maybe I kept drawing it. So the nice thing is with Illusion of Chaos and the Magician Souls packages, you could just put the meme back in the deck. So at least you knew your Yazi would resolve then. And then the extra deck, it's a little different. So Formula Synchron, Metal Marcher, Herald, Jet Warrior. So this would be Junk Warrior if we were playing Junk Synchron, but it's Jet Warrior, and Jet Warrior did so much: bounce, revive itself. It was a really good card to have. Speeder, I would like to have played this at 2 because of the cash. There were a lot of cash players, but again, majority of the players were trap tricks. Like I said, 4 out of my matches were trap tricks, so it was like, yeah, it was annoying. I wanted to see a little bit more variance, but it is what it is. But Speeder, I think Speeder only got ripped out once. The first match, I think the one that got ripped out with Axel, because I think most people knew what Axel was capable of. It threatens a Baron as well. So People really didn't know what Speeder did until they saw me actually play it, and then game 2 and then game 3, Speeder was the threat, so they just ripped it. So there I wish I had Speeder, but again, we could still play through it, and especially with the Adventure, you put up an Omni, you can still do so much more even without Speeder. Axel Synchron, the level modulation is so good here, is one of the more important cards in this build. Librarian is Librarian. In any build we play, Librarian is always important. Charge Warrior, the draw and the free body to synchro into something bigger, which is nice. Under Droll, it was really iffy because it was like we needed to summon it to keep comboing off to make a Baron or make a Yazi or do something else. But yeah, the Charge Warrior was still pretty useful, especially because it was something that could attack over multiple things. Riser I mainly used if I only opened Water Enchantress and started Synchron. Otherwise, I never saw Riser or never used it. Yazi, I used it every time I got combo just so I could get myself into the meme and get myself into the library and start drawing the hand traps I needed on top of my board. So Yazi was very important for me. Axel and Stardust, this was a very crucial package with Griffin Rider and Jet Synchron to make Speeder unaffected, which I'll show you in the combos. I don't know if I'll do it in this video or a video afterwards, but I'm just going to showcase what I'm playing. The Omega hand loop with Dispatter was really good sometimes. I never made Dispatter a lot because of its summoning requirements, but when I did make it and with the Omega loop, it put in work. Especially considering I had a Baron on top of that, and then I had hand traps to kind of still play through it, so it put my opponent on the back end, which was really nice. And then the side deck, a pointer put in so much work. I never wanted to side it. If I was going first game 3, I never sided it in because I didn't want to lose in time, and I know it's 45 minutes, but still. The Evenly Match and Dark Ruler was by far the most cracked thing in this thing. Going second, I took out I kept the Gamma, and Gamma is the one I didn't side because Gamma still going second still does so much for us, but I took out the 3 Imperium, the 3 Draw, 3 for 3 Dark Ruler and 3 Evenly. It breaks every single board. It is so good, especially unless it was a trap deck, then I didn't really need the Dark Ruler, but this was so good. The one thing I regret not having is Royal Decree, considering most of my matchups were traps and I died to the Labyrinth deck really hard. So if I had that Royal Decree, maybe I would have gotten somewhere, but that Royal Decree would have been nice. But then outside of that, I've got the anti-spell Dog shit. I never really used it all that much. I did side it in, I never really saw it. So for future decks, I'm probably gonna take this out right now. Duster, you kind of need to have it at 1, especially with the amount of traps, and then the Kaijus just in case I couldn't out anything. But yeah, overall I did learn quite a lot actually, and then I was watching Top Cut as they were playing, and I saw the misplays, but I also saw some of the clever lines and how top players actually play, and it's a learning lesson, especially if you get beaten to the ground like I did. With my record, you kind of learn a lot and you take it moving forward. So regardless of how you do, big events like this is always where you learn, so you always try to attend, because regardless you will learn something. But yeah, that's a deck profile. I don't know if I'm going to, looking at time, I'm 13 minutes in. I think I'm going to do another video where I'll show you the adventure combo, but I think right now I'm going to put the adventure package down for Synchron, because honestly, coming to the end of like round 5 and round 6, I didn't have that passion as I did when I was playing cashless Synchron or pure Synchron. Like it was like a challenge. Like I had to keep doing this. But with cash and pure, I'm like, okay, this is awesome. I love the build. I love my combo lines. I love how it's doing. This is not really my style. I attempted it. I played it. It is very strong in the right hands. And obviously a skillful Synchron player can make this work easily, like Donex and Yugioh and Mr. 037, those guys are cracked with this build. But I think for me, I really prefer the cash build. Cash Synchron is so much more fun for me, because I like that you can have it as more recursion with the cash, and especially with cash. Like I played 3 unicorn and 1 birth, so now I'm going to be playing 2 unicorn obviously because of the banlist, and maybe 1. Well, if I can get my hands on a Fenrir, I'll try and get my hands on a Fenrir. But if for now, I'll be playing the big body, the 2.8 attack, forget his name, Ogre. Those 3 and the birth, because there's so much more recursion, and then you can make free level 10 synchros. So I love that version of the deck. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be playing moving forward. But yeah, I'm also building Vanadium, so a deck that could potentially even be meta. We'll see, who knows. I love the lines with that deck. It's like you can do so much with it. Especially because we're used to some of the higher level synchros in that deck like that we're running here, so like the Axel, the Stardust, the Spider, and Baron, and we play Chaos Angel in that deck. And I'm experimenting, trying to even make Librarian in that deck, so I'm really having fun with that. But that's something I'm doing on the side. And then obviously the Expulsion got hit, so like my branded FTK, or the branded FTK is no longer viable. Not branded, the Blackwing FTK is no longer viable. So like my Blackwing deck I'm putting to the side right now. I don't know what to do with it yet. But yeah, now I'm in a space of like I need to pick and decide what I want to go forward with. But right now, most of my attention is going to Vanadium and just building that up. And then I'm going to focus on the Cash Synchron because I do love that book. But yeah, that's all for me today, guys. And then I'll see you in the next video, hopefully with combos from what I used at States. But yeah, peace.